Today we're going to be learning about respect. So last week we worked on friendship, and in your friendships you need respect. So I thought that was a good place to go on our next lesson. So when you respect others, you have respect for yourself. If you don't respect yourself, you can't have respect for others, just like we talked about with the self-esteem. So our key objectives today are build understanding on the relationship between healthy communication and respecting others. Build understanding of the relationship between healthy behaviors and respecting oneself. Oneself meaning yourself. And another key objective is to build healthy communication skills. Communication meaning how you talk to your friends and people that you are around. Okay, so through this lesson, I want to start with what is the definition of respect. Do you know what it is? Think about it for a minute. You could say it out loud if you want. Okay, respect is treating all people, including yourself, as well as people with whom you disagree, in a way that demonstrates that all people are important and that their feelings and thoughts are valuable. So I'm going to say it one more time. Respect is treating all people in a way that demonstrates that all people are important and that their feelings and thoughts are valuable. And that means including yourself and people you disagree. So if you don't agree with someone, you're still supposed to respect them? Yes. So a lot of times people argue over politics. So somebody could agree with the President of the United States and somebody else in your family could disagree with the President of the United States, and that could start almost like an argument. A lot of times that does happen, okay? In friendships and families, or maybe places of work or school. Right now, some of you don't get into politics because you're younger, but the older you get and the closer you get to voting age of 18, you're going to understand more about politics. And at this age, you can still have your opinions and start to understand what's going on in our country. But it is healthy to disagree. You can disagree with a friend or a family member, but you can have a healthy level of communication. You should not be yelling at each other, calling each other names, teasing each other. So what is healthy communication? How do you know it's healthy? Okay, I know we talk about the word healthy. Right now we're all trying to stay healthy from the coronavirus. Healthy meaning not sick. So what is healthy communication? Healthy communication, think about it for a minute. I'll give you a minute to think. So what is healthy communication now that you thought about it for a minute? It is communicating with another person, feeling heard, understood, respected by the other person, as well as being able to listen, understand, and respect what the other person is saying. So, like I said, politics as an example. Somebody could agree with the President of the United States. Somebody you know could disagree with the President of the United States. You could sit there and have a healthy communication with that person that you're talking to. It could be your friend or a family member. You could listen to each other, make that person feel heard, understand what they're saying, and say, I understand, I'm listening, but I don't agree with you. I don't agree with that. And that's all. You don't have to call each other names. You don't have to yell. You don't have to put that person down. You can just say, I don't have that same opinion as you. I don't agree with that. Okay? So that's what respect is, and that's what healthy communication is. All right. So I'm going to give you 4 statements that are not part of a healthy communication, and I want you to practice at home how you could turn those statements into a form of healthy communication. So again, I'm going to give you 4 statements, and you're just going to practice them at home and turn them into healthy levels of communication. So the first one is statement 1. It's between 2 friends. That's a stupid idea. What's wrong with you? Not healthy, right? Not a healthy level of communication. So how would you change that? Think about it at home and practice it. Statement 2. You're so rude. Who shows up 30 minutes late without even texting or telling me? Think about the tone in my voice, how I told my friend that she was rude. I was being rude too, wasn't I? So how could you change that? How could you change that statement? Statement 3. I've already decided where we're going later, so I don't need your opinion. Remember we talked last week about friendship and how both parts of the friendship need to make decisions, and sometimes you need to come to a compromise with things that you want to do. You don't always want one friend telling you that you're going to go to outside, go for a walk, or go for roller skating, or go for a bike ride. If you don't like doing those things and you want to stay in and watch a movie or a video game, you should both be able to compromise and take turns on what you want to do. And the last statement, statement number 4. Why were you talking to he or she in the hallway? You know I don't like that person. Remember we talked about that last week with friendship, how certain unhealthy friendships, the one friend tries to almost like control you and gets very jealous and doesn't like you to have other friends. So we talked about the traffic light. That would definitely be a red zone where they're trying to control you. So how would you change that to a healthy form of communication between you and your friend? Okay, so now that you practiced your 4 statements, or you can go back after the video and do it, you're just going to practice out loud, or you could write down how you could change those 4 statements to a healthy form of communication between you and your friends. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 tips for healthy communication. 5 tips. Number 1, stay in control of your feelings, okay? And we know that feelings are anger, fear, happiness, joy. Number 2, make eye contact, okay? Number 3, pay attention to your gestures. Gestures are when people use their hands. Sometimes I use them when I teach. Your facial expressions, okay? If you're making a sad face, or you're making, when you're saying something like, don't go there, you're making like a rude face. And the tone of your voice. So the tone of your voice will let off whether you may be being rude to somebody, or you're showing joy or happiness. Number 4, listen actively. So take turns talking. So if you're in a healthy conversation with you and your friend, you are going to take turns talking. They may want to tell you a story first, so you're obviously not going to interrupt them. But then they may say, what do you think I should do? And then that's going to be your turn to come in and talk. So you don't want to ask questions and interrupt their story at first. And you don't want to jump to conclusions and start judging them, okay, until you hear the full story that they're trying to tell you. And last of the 5 healthy communication tips is use I statements to express your feelings. So if you're talking to your friend, for example, you would say, well, what I would do is if I felt that my curfew was not late enough, I would sit down and talk to my mom I would tell her all the reasons I've been being very mature and responsible. I'm getting older. I'm getting good grades in school. And I'm about to enter middle school or high school, and I feel that I should have a little bit more responsibility of staying out with my friends longer. All the while you're saying I, so that you're bringing yourself into the situation. Part of being healthy communication. All right, now I'm going to give you, go over some scenarios with you. If we were in school, it would have been nice to act out these scenarios, and we probably would have had a lot of fun. If you have a brother or sister at home, you could take turns acting out these scenarios if you wanted to, or you guys could even, you know, over the phone, act them out with your friends, if you wanted to. So since we're virtual, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you the scenarios, and then when you go back into your Google Classroom, I'm going to have you reflect and write on those scenarios about the levels of the communication and how they could become a healthy level of communication. All right. Scenario A is named Words Can Hurt. After friend 1 and friend 2 have a fight, they act without thinking through the consequences. Okay, so what is a consequence? A consequence is something that happens because of something else. So if you don't clean your room and your parent gives you the consequence of losing your telephone or video game time at night, that's your consequence. Okay, that's happening because you didn't clean your room. All right, so again, friend 1 and friend 2 have a fight. They act without thinking through the consequences. Friend 1 is thinking, after we had a fight, my friend made up a bunch of stories about me and told some friends. To get even, I sent a text to all our friends saying bad things about them. That's not good, right? Friend 2 is thinking, my friend really disappointed me when we had a fight and I needed to vent. Vent meaning you needed to let out your feelings. I didn't mean for them to hear about it. Okay, so they just wanted to let their feelings out. They didn't really realize that they were, you know, starting basically like gossip or, you know, involving other people in their business. Okay, so when you go back into Google Classroom, you're going to reflect on that scenario. Scenario B, a risky party. Friend 3 is invited to a party, but friend 4 knows that this party is a bad idea to go to. Friend 3 is thinking, well, Sam invited me to a party at his house this weekend. I told my friend I couldn't wait to go, but they told me not to bother. I think they're just jealous personally that I got invited and they didn't. Friend 4 is thinking, yeah, I saw pictures of Sam's party online. It looked like it was getting out of control with loud music, and I think that there was no parents home. I think that it was a bad idea to go there. Okay, so that was scenario B, risky party. So when you go back in Google Classroom, there'll be more information on that, and you're going to reflect on it. Scenario C. Is called Nick and Sam. Nick works at an after-school basketball program with Sam and Sam's older brother. But Sam's brother stopped showing up, leaving the program short-staffed, which means they didn't have enough people to run the program. Sam says his brother started cutting school and has lost interest in his job. Obviously, going down the wrong path, not good. Nick's reaction. Your brother's putting us in a bad situation. He should really stop cutting school and he should really go to his job and be responsible. A question I want you to think about. Where does the behavior or language fall in the spectrum of healthy to unhealthy communication in this situation? Number 2, Sam's brother says that Nick and Sam are making a big deal out of nothing. How might Sam's brother cutting school and skipping his job affect him later in life? Okay, so that would be like a reality check. Like he needs a reality check. He needs to realize that these bad decisions that he's making, these negative decisions to cut school and not go to his after school job are going to affect him later. All right. Scenario B, Jordan and Gabby. Jordan and Gabby are on a school debate team together. Debate meaning you go over topics together. You argue topics. And an argue, like we talked about, like a healthy argue. Okay, you don't sit and yell at each other. Jordan decided that she didn't want to hang out with Gabby after school anymore. Gabby thought that Jordan was her friend. Gabby calls or texts Jordan every day to try to connect back with her. Jordan's reaction? Jordan sent a text with all bold letters. Stop texting me. Now Jordan ignores Gabby's calls and texts and glares at Gabby when they pass in the hall and doesn't even talk to her. Number 1, I want you to think about. Where does the behavior or language fall in the spectrum of healthy to unhealthy communication? How did Gabby handle the situation? How did Jordan handle the situation? How do you think she felt when Jordan sent the text that said, stop texting me, how do you think that made Gabby feel? Okay. Think about if that ever happened to you with in a similar situation with a friend. Second question I want you to think about. Gabby decides one day to call Jordan 25 times in a row. How can Jordan respectfully tell Gabby that she is scaring Jordan? That's a little bit too much, 25 times in a row. Okay, I understand that she's worried and Jordan wants to be Gabby's friend, but Gabby wants to be Jordan's friend, but 25 times in a row is a little obsessive and not the right way, not a healthy way. Okay, so I would say if we did the traffic light, the red being stop, unhealthy, yellow being the caution, worrisome, and the green being the healthy behaviors like we talked about with the friendships, I would say that the spam calling of 25 times in a row would be red. That's stop. It's not healthy. Cross the line and you're becoming unsafe at that point. All right. So we're going to stop there for today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the different lines between the connections between healthy communication to resolve a conflict in your friendship. And we went back to the traffic light with the red, the yellow, and the green parts of your friendship, okay? And then you are going to go back and think about the understanding and the relationship between healthy communication and respecting others, especially your friends and your family, right? And I want you to think about building the understanding of the relationship between healthy behaviors and respecting your own self. Remember, if you have that low self-esteem, you don't respect your own self, you're not going to reflect that respect to other people. And in the scenarios, we helped build that healthy communication skill. Like I said, if we were in class, we would be acting it out, but we're at home, so you can act it out with someone at home if you would like, or you could do that over the phone with one of your friends if you wanted to. Okay, so that is all for today. I hope that you enjoyed the lesson, and again, go to your Google Classroom and complete the lesson. Again, my grades go for social studies. So if you are completing my work, and those that are completing my work are doing great, keep it up. You will be bringing up your social studies grades. So I look forward to reading all your responses this week. Those that handed them in last week did a great job, and keep it up.